Hey, welcome back to the Gadget Spot.
Hi.
Welcome back again.
Yeah, it's been a week, right?
A week that's felt like hours.
Crazy how that works.
Nay, minutes.
Yeah. So this is the Gadget Spot where we talk about tech, gadgets, and video games. And let's go ahead and introduce the panel. Owen.
Hey, my name's Owen. You can follow me on Twitter at TechNoan. I'm about to crack this NOS open, so I might get more energetic as we go through. You can follow me on there. I lurk, and sometimes if I find something very funny,
You repost.
I will repost or like it /or.
Yeah.
I have never seen you retweet anything.
I've retweeted some of your stuff and some of the Gadget Spot stuff, and James once.
Why don't you hold that NOS up to the microphone and crack it open?
Should I do that?
Yeah. It sounds.
Feel the energy come out of this can with me.
Whoa. That was loud.
Yeah.
It's because it's so great. Anyway,
What have you been playing?
so I have been playing Zelda.
The new one?
Yeah.
You bought the new one?
I didn't buy it. I borrowed it from my brother, and I have it next to my Switch downstairs. So I haven't actually officially started playing. But I really wanted to say I've been playing that. And so I have it in my house now.
You were so close.
I was so good. Anyway, yeah, things got in the way this week. I really did have time carved out to like sit down and play that.
Nice.
I kind of quizzed my brother on all the things to do. I like to know a set game plan, like how to do it. This open world concept that games are moving to kind of freaks me out.
Wait. Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
Oh, I thought
yeah.
you meant the new Zelda.
No,
that came out
no.
Like 2 weeks
Oh
ago.
yeah, no.
Okay.
This is Breath of the Wild.
Still a great game.
So yeah, and I'm
Until it's not.
Until it's not. And I kind of was asking about the game mechanics and how everything works, and got the rundown. I feel confident that I can get through this game, even as a completionist, that it's not going to suck my life away.
Yeah.
That I can get to a point where I'm powerful enough not to feel like I suck.
The problem is
And
you get to a point where you're powerful enough that you just don't care anymore.
That's
'Cause-
what I need to get to. So then I can go just beat the game. I don't like.
But then you don't care anymore.
Yeah, then you don't care.
Problem.
Oh, right.
As soon as you're powerful enough, it's like, whatever.
I guess that's as good as it gets.
Is a weird kind of situation that a lot
Is it
of
unbalanced
people...
in that way then, where you where you get too strong too fast, where you
No,
the enemies?
It's not that. It still takes a long time to get really
Yeah,
strong.
It still takes like 50 hours.
But it's just you get to it's a problem I think that Nintendo has with storytelling in the Zelda series. If you ask me, in my opinion, I'm probably going to get some hate for this. I don't think Zelda games ever really tell that great of a story.
I agree. That's my favorite so far has been Link to the Past.
Yeah,
because it told a great story.
I think Zelda games usually create a really cool world for you to be in. They build a cool world and a cool universe with cool stuff in it. But as far as story goes, every time the story is, there's Ganondorf. He's messing with Zelda.
He wants
I don't
that
like
Triforce
that.
again.
He wants that Triforce again. I better stop him.
Yeah,
Or not even so much that he wants the Triforce, or just that he wants to dominate the world or whatever. So anyway, that's just my opinion.
but hasn't that been the same for like all of the Zelda games going?
Pretty much, yeah.
Like it's
It's not an
arc.
The only different one was Majora's Mask.
Oh, okay.
That one was that I didn't really like that game that much, but it was different. That's for sure.
So that's what I tried to play this week, but I haven't. I'm mentally prepared to play it. I carved out when Jaron said 50 hours just a second ago. I went, I planned 30 minutes. For 40 minutes.
You don't have to beat it all at once.
I'm not sure when I'll get another 40 minutes though. So I need to beat it in like 40 minutes. Can I do that?
You'll get there.
There are some people that have, yeah.
I don't think that sounds like
Probably
me,
not you, though.
Yeah, no. Anyway, over to Jaron.
Hi, I'm Jaron. You can find me on Twitter at Jaron. And like Owen, I have not touched a game in the last 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. I did get my mate bike, though. And just a quick review of it. It's awesome.
I already reviewed it.
I was too intimidated to even touch it.
There's only 2 improvements I wish it had.
You got yours too late. I already reviewed it. You can't review it now.
I wish it had a higher gear, so when you're going
going.
above 26 miles an hour, it feels like you're still
Yeah.
contributing.
I agree.
Because once you get past 26 miles an hour, your legs are just going like crazy.
And then you're not pushing it at all anymore.
You're not
it's all the
assisting
motor.
anymore.
Yeah. So I wish it had a higher gear so you could assist up to 33 miles an hour, which
would
is how
be-
fast it can go.
That would be cool.
Crazy. And second, I wish it had regenerative braking.
Have you
I
gone
really
33
want
miles
that.
an hour on it?
I have.
And how did it feel?
Felt like I was about to die.
Did you feel like you were being thrown off?
But it's still smooth.
Right.
It's still
It's a
smooth.
still smooth ride.
What's weird is it feels like I'm going to die because my legs aren't keeping up, and so if I feel out of control because my legs aren't keeping
coast?
up.
You don't have to at that speed. You don't try and assist.
Just use the thumb throttle.
I haven't tried it with just the thumb throttle for some reason because I like pedaling.
Use the thumb throttle if you go higher than that, and you're fine.
But I've taken it to work. It's great.
That
It's
way
awesome.
you don't look like that like blow up thing that's just flapping in the wind.
Yeah.
Just with your legs just like.
But when I'm on the trail, people literally stare at me as I go by.
Yep.
Like I think they're thinking two things. What the heck is that thing? Dang, he's going fast.
What was that? That's like that's all they see. What was that?
Yeah. Oh, I have been playing a game. I've been playing the Why Won't My CPU Boost to 4.6 gigahertz game.
Ooh,
Oh,
how's
well,
that going? What level are you on?
I've lost
You
miserably.
gave up? There's no saves in that game.
Nope.
There's no saves, and you can't really do anything until the developer patches that game.
That's been literally my PC time is why won't this thing boost?
Why are you still trying? You know it's not going to work until they upgrade the microcode.
Well, other people got it to be able to before that, and I don't know if the problem is me, my motherboard, my CPU.
You're using an old motherboard.
I know, that's why I'm so iffy
Maybe you
about
should
it.
just buy a new motherboard.
Oh, you're right.
I didn't think that was the reaction I was going to get. All right, Twyman is back for another round.
Yep. My name's Twyman. I still don't really use Twitter. And games. Let's see.
Yeah,
But-
what you been
but-
playing lately?
But if you're into Jeeps and off-roading stuff, you can follow that.
Yeah, if you're into Jeeps and off-roading, you put it in again.
All right.
Bore Off-Road on Twitter.
Take that.
Is that underscore off road or just one
Yeah,
word?
it's underscore. Thank you. I got sucked back into Pokemon Go, if that counts.
Yeah, that counts.
Only
Why
because you can use that gotcha
You
device.
run, but you run 2 accounts now.
Yes, I do have 2 accounts.
and
Yeah.
2 gotchas.
My alternate with 2 gotchas. Yeah, it makes the game a lot easier. But yeah, have you guys talked about the gotcha already?
I don't think we did. No.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you remember when the game came out and then they had that bracelet that looked like a
Here, let's-
Pokeball?
This deserves its own segment.
Okay.
So we'll
Let's
talk about
forget
this
that
because
then.
it is pretty interesting. We'll talk about it in a little bit after
then
we
I
get
have
past
another
the
game. I
intros.
have another game.
Okay.
So since the last time I was here, and I've been anxiously holding on to this, I did play a new game. To me, I went through StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2.
Expansion?
Ah, cool.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I
There's 2 expansions to StarCraft 2, isn't there?
No.
I thought you had StarCraft, and then you had Wings of Liberty, and then you had another one for.
He's talking about. You're talking about StarCraft 2?
Yeah,
2.
StarCraft
Oh,
2.
okay, yeah,
And
there's
then you had
3.
Wings of Liberty,
right. So
and then another one, right?
when I played, they gave you the first one, Wings of Liberty, which is the Terran camp.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's the
right.
first one. Sorry.
And I played that, and the storyline was great, and the gameplay was great, and I was like, this is awesome. I will absolutely pay for the other campaigns. And I bought the other ones, and they were meh compared to the first.
Really?
Yeah, so Zerg was super easy to do, and Protoss, the storylines were just weak, and anyway. But
you
that
finished
was,
them.
I played through it, and I was like, okay, that was worth my time. That was my new game.
I swore them
Nice.
off. I swore off. I never played StarCraft 2. I swore them off because they removed LAN battles. You had to play through BattleNet, which was a huge hindrance.
Really? Even locally, it's not an option.
You can't play locally. You had to use BattleNet, which means everybody's computer had to go out to the internet.
Yep.
And they did that to fight piracy. I get why they did it and everything. Because
Still.
StarCraft was one of StarCraft and StarCraft 2, the expansion, or not StarCraft, just the Brood Wars
Brood
expansion.
War, yeah.
Yeah.
That was like one of the most pirated games of all time. Still really huge in Asia, by the way.
Yeah, which is crazy, especially in South Korea.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, they StarCraft 2 came out, and they're like, yeah, no more LAN, and the community freaked out. They just said,
Too bad.
"What are you gonna do? Go play World of Warcraft again? Okay, we own that too.
We own that too.
We farted out StarCraft 2 as an accident, and it's to critical acclaim. and what
Best
are you?
fart ever.
Yeah, and they're just like, meh, whatever, and we'll keep doing this with all of these assets that we have. And anyway,
Well, I think the proverbial poop hit the fan when they showed off Diablo on phones.
Yeah, and everybody's like, what?
Earlier in the year.
They got
and
the
everyone
boo, right? They got
freaked
the
out,
they got the boo in the audience.
at BlizzCon.
Yeah.
A convention they throw for their products. They got booed showing off a new product
Yeah.
of theirs.
Yeah.
Well,
man.
speaking of poop and farts, we have a show host.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
It's my favorite kind of comedy right there.
You're welcome back any week.
Poop and fart jokes. Check me out on Twitter at QuadTTony or on the Geek Show podcast or of course right here on the Gadget Spot. I've only been playing Borderlands 3. Borderlands 3 for life.
Is it great?
It's so good.
He beat it.
I beat it a couple days ago.
You beat it
So
now
as of-
back to the grind.
Yeah, as of this recording, I beat it a couple days ago. As of when you're listening to it, I beat it like a week and a half ago. When you listen to this, but
He just wants to make sure you know
Yep.
exactly when he
that's
beat it.
right, a week and a half ago. 53 hours to play through the first time. Yep.
He beat it in that short of time.
Yeah,
53 hours.
yeah.
Is that experiencing a lot of the game, or is that just kind of flying through to see
No, that's
the...
probably all. But I think I beat all but one or two side quests.
Okay.
There was two side quests that one of them I can't remember why I didn't do it, and but there is a whole bunch of other stuff that aren't story based side quests. They're just like go hunt this.
And you did get
mini boss
did get the one punch man gun.
No, I farmed that for a little bit and never got it.
Oh, man.
And it's really annoying to farm that kind of stuff because at least unless there's a better way to do it, but you basically you go find the guy that you need to kill who has the gun and hope that he drops
He
it.
has a percentage.
Yeah, it's like
right.
a small percentage that he'll drop this unique weapon. And if you don't get it, you have to back out of the game completely, reload the game, and look for him again.
It's not even like a zone reload. You have to actually leave the
if
game.
it was a zone reload, I'd do it a little quicker, but
Right.
you have to back out to the title screen and then
and there's
load
only
the game
one
again.
chance to kill that guy.
Yep.
Oh, there's
It's
only
like
multiple. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Very similar to Diablo
Oof.
loot grinding.
Can you play that game offline?
Yes, but I don't know. I mean, you can turn off the social aspect of it, so no one else can like dive into your game or do anything like that. But I don't know if you have to be connected to the internet to actually play it.
Just curious for your very long flight.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. I started another character. On that now,
What system is
so
that on?
It's on everything. I'm playing it on PC though.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, good times. Love the Borderlands. All right, let's we gotta have a shout out to our awesome Patreon backers. Jaron, that's you.
Oh, it's me. I'm just playing around with my my pen on my iPad.
Second time you've ever used it.
Apple.
No,
pencil?
they put out an update, right? iOS 13. It decreases the latency in half.
Mm-hmm.
It really feels pretty instant.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Anyway, so Patreon is for a chance for you guys to tip us if you like us, and it's like a digital tip jar. Wouldn't you say, Owen?
Digital tip jar.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
give us the tip.
So if you go to patreon.com/gadgetspot, we read your name on the show if you donate $6 or above. So here we go. Thank you, AJ Jasper, David Broshinsky, and Aaron Young. Thanks, Dick Messerly, Josh Sidaway, Splinter, Hardware, Adam Hecht, Ryan Baker, Aaron Faulkner, Demons, Souls, Platinum Underway, Adam Foote, Spencer Knowlton, Borderlands 3, well worth the wait.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, Michael Beck, Jeffrey Kale, Roger Allen, Conrad Southworth, and Austin Beauregard.
Whoa, double that time. There you go. Very nice. We appreciate everything you do, Patreon backers. You are awesome. And I believe we do have an email this week.
Yeah, we do.
Who wants to read it?
I had it pulled up.
I wasn't ready.
Oh, I totally had it pulled up, but it disappeared.
It's a race. Who's going to pull it up first?
All right, here we go. History. Space game.
This
Here
is
we go.
really good radio. I mean,
man.
podcasting. It looks like Jaron beat him.
Yeah, he
All
did.
right.
Except when I pulled up the closed tab, it just
I have it.
went
Oh,
to a
Owen's got
I
it.
have
blank
it.
screen.
Owen beat
This is
him.
from Chris Cushley.
Hey, Chris.
And he says, subject, space game.
I like space and games.
Just listening to the episode about playing Eve. Check out Elite Dangerous.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of it.
It's a space sim where you actually pilot the ship. Far more fun. Chris.
I guess
Anyway.
it depends on what your type of fun is. If spreadsheets
When
and
I-
things
when
are
I-
your fun, then Eve is your cup of tea. But
When
if you
I was looking at
you
No
wanna
Man's
fly
Sky,
it, yeah,
somebody told me, don't get No Man's Sky. Go get Elite Dangerous.
Yep.
And have an actual sim, a space sim that's fun.
yeah, I would say if you're, I haven't played Elite Dangerous, but I definitely have researched it a little bit when I was thinking about starting a space sim, and that was the one I was looking at, and the other one was what was the other one it's been in pre-release forever and ever?
Alpha. Something.
No, it's been in alpha.
No, it's what's it called? Star Citizen.
Citizen, yeah.
Alpha.
Yeah, it's an alpha.
That's where the alpha came from.
And I was looking at Star Citizen as well, and they both look kind of similar. Elite Dangerous is much further along.
Star Citizen, the one with the facial
Yeah,
recognition?
the one with the...
That's like one of my favorite videos to go watch is that guy.
The
doing
Swedish guy.
Yeah, where he just walks around
'cause-
laughing like a creepy weirdo.
Well, that's the big difference between Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous is, well, Elite Dangerous is a fully completed game that they're continually adding on, with Star Citizen is still in pre-release form, but Star Citizen almost seems like more of a giant tech demo
yeah.
than anything else. It
With
uses
the mapping and
it
the-
uses the Crytek engine, and they're trying to make a huge game with first-person elements and ship flying and all that stuff. But then they add in stuff like, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's this software that uses a webcam to basically follow the
3D
movements, 3D map your face, and move those movements onto your avatar.
It looks pretty good. I mean, I find them hilariously accurate with the eyebrows.
It's actually, yeah.
Yeah, like the eyebrow. It's like almost creepy accurate.
Yep.
Where the eyebrows and the
But yeah,
face.
if you want to fly around in space right now, it's actually a pretty good time in video games because you
Right.
got Elite Dangerous, you got Star Citizen, you
Do one
got
of those support
No Man's
VR?
Sky has some flying now that's pretty good. I thought Elite Dangerous had a VR option.
That would be cool.
Maybe I'm wrong though.
If you're not prone to motion sickness.
Is when you say fly around, is it like flight simulator flying, or you're outside third person flying around?
I think you can do either.
Never played it. I just was recommended. And then No Man's Sky was such a when I was comparing the two, No Man's Sky flopped so hard
Yeah.
that I actually had more fun playing No Mario Sky. Did you ever play that?
No,
It got ripped down so fast because of
Copyright infringement,
But
I'm
I
sure.
still have it. Anybody wants it? Hit me up. I still have the executable, single executable. You can fly Mario around from world to world, and play No Mario Sky and land. And I had more fun doing that, landing on planets as Mario and jumping on Goombas than I did actually looking at the real No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky will forever live in my memory as the game that had the video that used the bad harmonica version of Jurassic
Yeah.
Park.
Yes.
It's classic
Yeah.
video. What they're telling you the game is like, what the game is actually like. Yep. All right. Thanks for writing in, Chris. And okay, we got a couple things. We're got some good stuff we're going to talk about this episode. Let's start with some retro game. Actually, we're going to have a few gaming stories. Let's start with Pokemon Go first, and then we'll go into some retro game talk. So we haven't talked about Pokemon Go in it's been a few months. What do you got? What do you got? You want to talk about there, Twyman?
Oh, I played it when it first came out, like we all did, and then it kind of just turned into a grind, right? And
Yeah.
you kind of lose interest. And they came out with that bracelet that looked like a Pokeball, and it would light up, so you didn't have to pull your phone out. It would light up when a Pokemon or a Pokestop was near, and you'd push the button, and it would try to catch it for you or whatever.
Right.
And then people would actually solder them, so it automatically did it for them. And anyway, this other company came out with one that connects. It just goes on your keychain. I don't know what you'd say it looks like a pill, basically.
It looks like a pill, yeah. You put it in a little case on a keychain.
Yeah, and you can actually configure it to spin just Pokestops and don't try to catch Pokemon, or just catch Pokemon, do both. You can have it vibrate or not, so you know when you're doing things.
But it's
And-
automatic.
But it's completely automatic, so it takes a lot of the grind out of the game for me. So when I'm driving into work, if I'm under 25 miles an hour, which is a lot of the time, I'm catching Pokemon, I'm spinning Pokestops. So then when I actually do play the game, it's what I want to do in the game. I can go in and just evolve, I can battle. It takes out all that grind that I hated.
How much was that pill?
It was about $30
Okay.
on sale.
Yeah, not terribly expensive. I had one for a little bit as well, and then I don't know, I just got like bored of Pokemon Go or something. I don't know. But the week I did use it, it was really cool.
Yeah. And it's nice, like when you go into battles, you'll be battling, trying to take down a gym, and it's still spinning the Pokestop that's at the gyms because they put Pokestops at all the gyms now too. And so it's like multitasking.
I stopped that game when they changed their code to stop emulators from running.
You can still spoof it.
Can you
actually.
really?
Yeah, there's people still doing it.
I need to figure that out. Then.
There's
'Cause I
like
would
a
play that
guy-
game if I didn't actually have to get up and walk around.
There's like one guy where you can do a subscription service, and he has a bunch of phones connected to a computer somehow, and those accounts on those phones go and walk everywhere. And so then it gives you a map of, okay, these Pokemon are in these areas right now.
I've seen that guy with the 10 phones glued to his handlebars on his bike.
Oh yeah, the
Oh.
Pokemon Grandpa
Yeah.
in Japan.
Yeah.
And
I've
it's
come
like
across
20
those people.
It's like 25 phones.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I remember you and I, Twyman, battle. We took on a raid, and we had that one guy that jumped in our raid party that had a tablet and 3 phones
Yep.
that he was doing all at once.
Yep, I
Crazy.
went. I went down to Orem to the Miracle Bowl. It was a Facebook event, and some guy had an armband with Velcro and like 4 or 5 phones stuck to the Velcro at various angles, and he's doing
Man.
like this crazy stuff.
I just don't have that kind of
Tapping.
income.
Just tapping the screen as fast as he
Oh,
can
yeah.
to fight the.
Well, it's either phones or GPUs.
Right. Yeah. Pick your poison, I guess.
Yeah. Is that the end of that
Yeah,
story?
no, that's the end of
Oh,
it. Sorry about that.
Did they still do?
Ta-da!
Did they still do the stat monitor? I really got into the stats in that game. Do they still do stats where you have
Yeah.
like the purity of the Pokemon?
You evaluate the Pokemon. This one's a 3-star, and
Right.
it has this.
They actually made that a lot easier to view as well.
Yeah,
now.
because you had to run it based off of a whole bunch of like starting health on the level 1 Pokemon before and run it through some weird algorithm. Before.
Yeah, and everybody over level 30 catches the same, stats Pokemon, so that it takes all the randomness out after you
okay.
go over 30.
I see.
And
Yeah, up until 30, it still has random stuff. So that
Everybody
was,
wants a 100% pure Jigglypuff. Also hit me up.
you got one.
I have 100% Jigglypuff.
nice.
How much are you going to sell it for?
I don't know. Free? Anybody want it?
I don't know.
I haven't played that game in 2 years, so 3 years.
Cool. Pokemon Go update. We got some retro game stuff to talk about as well. The Sega Genesis Mini. I got one of those, and we took it out of the box in between recordings here and played a little bit of it on Jaren's TV, and
It's cool.
it's actually really cool. The box itself, the console itself, is exactly like the first gen Sega Genesis, or what do they call it in Europe?
Mega Drive.
Yeah, the Mega Drive.
Even has a little slot that opens.
It's got a slot that opens. There's nothing to plug in there, obviously, but the volume slider slides up and down,
Which controls nothing.
which controls nothing. But the reset button works. The switch is a slide switch to on and off.
Yeah, slot is the slot for the game.
Yeah, exactly. And then the bottom actually has, just like on the Genesis, there's an expansion port that you have to uncover. That comes off. There's nothing in there, obviously, but it just comes off. It's got a lot of attention to detail.
They made a little mini mega CD for journalists that went into the little slot.
did?
Yeah, I was gonna.
It did nothing, of course. But,
Yeah.
and the controllers, they're nice.
It's just slightly better, actually, than I remember the Genesis controllers being.
And the cords are long, thankfully.
Yeah, Nintendo, we're looking at you.
Seriously.
Your Nintendo controllers are way too short.
They
But
were.
These are like 9-foot cables.
Great game selection, too. Like a bunch of stuff that I thought was obscure when I used to have a Sega Genesis, like Dynamite Heady, Earthworm Jim. I guess that one wasn't as obscure, but some great stuff. Echo the Dolphin, Monster Boy, and Wonder Boy in Monster World, Eternal Champions, Road Rash 2, Streets of Rage 2. So many good games.
Altered Beast, Star. What am I trying to say? Street Fighter 2 Ultimate Championship Edition or whatever. Yeah, a lot of good games. There's a hard to find Castlevania game on there called Bloodlines, and there's even a special version of Tetris that was apparently really hard to find cartridges for on the Genesis. But yeah,
And Mega Man, the Willy Wars.
yeah, Wily I think is what it is.
Oh, they're not fighting over Willies?
No, I don't think so. They're not fighting.
Twyman knows about Willies.
They're not fighting over
Jeep
their
Willies.
They're not fighting over Willies or with Willies. It's the Wily Wars. But yeah, it's got like 40 some odd games, 42 I think, and just really good build quality, really good emulation.
That would be a great Christmas gift.
Oh yeah, for anyone that's into the old Sega Genesis stuff,
Yeah.
this will bring back a lot of good memories. We tried out Road Rash 2, we played some Sonic 2, we played some Altered Beast.
I didn't anticipate the nostalgia factor. Like, I thought I played Genesis a ton growing up. I don't really want it. But then when you loaded it up, I'm like, oh, dang, this is pretty cool.
I must have this.
Oh boy, Tony, look at this. You can go on eBay and get the Sega CD and then that expansion thing that slid in the top and a fake Sonic game that slides in. It makes it into the whole package.
It's only $70.
$70 and it's all cosmetic, it says.
$70 for plastic.
So it doesn't come with the actual Genesis Mini.
No, it doesn't come with, but it is released by Sega.
Wait, these are actual...
These are Sega, so Sega revealed it released
peripherals.
Wow.
It's a recreation of the Sega CD, Sega 32X, and a Sonic the Hedgehog cartridge.
So that way you can just
Empty,
look
though.
extra cool. Yeah, it's just plastic.
just
All of these stacked to recreate the infamous Sega Tower of Power.
Oh, man.
I might need that.
For historical.
I guess if I'm filling in for James, do I have to just buy this
Yeah,
right
you
now?
need to buy it right now.
It's tradition.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yep. James should be back next episode. He had some stuff going on the night of recording.
Yeah, you can just expense that to James too, and he'll pay for it.
Perfect.
It's your payment for taking his spot. Yeah, so anyway, really, really neat. I think they run about $70 or so, but if you're at all interested in, even if you didn't have a Genesis growing up like I did, I only got to play it over at Jaren's house, was where I played Genesis. But I still saw that, and I was like, I got to have that because the game selection is just really good, and the
Way
emulation, excellent. It's just all around. I'd say it's pretty safe to say it's probably the best quality retro mini console so far.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So very cool. Also in video game news, Modern Warfare PC requirements came out, which is kind of just like, okay. They're not that steep. What is interesting though, so I'll read these off. The recommended specifications: Windows 10, a Core i5 2500K, which that chip itself is like, that's an 8-year-old chip or something like that. It's pretty dang old.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Or the Ryzen R5 1600X on the AMD side.
Wow.
Graphic card wise, it recommends a GTX 970 or a 1660, which 1660 is still a little more powerful than the 970, but the 970 was hands down the most widely installed graphics card on Steam user accounts for quite a number of years. It was a wildly popular card for NVIDIA. And on the AMD side, they recommend a R9 39 or 390 or a 580.
Those are light specs.
They're very light specs, and oddly enough, 12 gigs of RAM specifically, which they don't usually do odd numbers like that for RAM. It's usually like 8 or 16.
12 is still even, buddy.
Odd as far as RAM increments, you jerk. Here's the kicker. How much storage space do you think this game requires?
40 to 50 gigs.
175.
What?
Whoa!
175 gigabytes of storage on your hard drive.
Holy cow!
And that is just crazy, if you ask me. That's enough for 3 or 4 games usually.
Did they not compress the audio?
I don't think they compressed
or the video.
I don't think they compressed anything. 175 gigabytes of space. Now, at first I was like, well, that's absolutely nuts, but it's not without precedent. I actually messaged you about this the other day, Jaron. I saw an update coming through for Black Ops 4.
All right.
Which is just multiplayer. There's no single player campaign in this game or anything. It's just multiplayer. And that one currently weighs in with the latest update at around 150 gig.
That's just too much.
For a multiplayer game, that is insanely huge. For any game, that's insanely huge. But for multiplayer, that is epically huge.
So the Surge 2 just recently came out. Now I know it's comparing apples to oranges here, but
a little bit, yeah.
It's still it's a modern game.
We call I think the Surge 2 would qualify as a AA game, not a AAA,
Yeah.
but definitely not indie or anything like that. It's
But
got high production value.
But on consoles, it's only taken up 15 gigs.
15 gigs.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you it has more to say than Black Ops 4.
Yeah.
As far as
Seriously.
story and difference of what am I trying to say? Like audio files and textures.
I do think, though, that devs are getting a little bit too greedy with space.
They definitely are, if you ask me. Now, the reason that usually is like you said, compression. So they want to keep it uncompressed as much as they can because it frees up CPU cycles to work on other things. Because normally if you have compressed textures, compressed audios, things like that, the CPU has to unpack those assets on the fly as you're playing the game. Or some of them they get unpacked before and put into like your VRAM buffer and things like that. It adds to loading times.
It'd be nice if they gave you a choice. Powerful CPU, compressed textures.
Right, yeah. That would actually be pretty cool. But yeah, it ends up with devs, it seems like lately, are just trying to just do a lot of uncompressed stuff, and you end up with games. Gears of War 5 is another kind of, what's the word?
Bloat.
Yeah,
Do they do that to try and be more pure in like audiophile, like not compressing?
Sometimes they say that's the excuse, and maybe it is, but offender, that's the word I'm looking for. Gears 5 is another offender of this. That I think Gears 5 itself, especially if you get the HD texture packs, I think that's around 120 gig.
Or is the idea
It's
that
big.
Or is the idea that not compressing anything is less work for the system, and therefore
that's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
So it's both. You get better quality if it's not compressed at all to begin with, but you also
it
if
also
it's not
offloads
compressed,
the work,
it offloads the work.
Like so the system that you're playing on has less to do.
Exactly, and they can dedicate those cycles to physics.
But they offload that cost to you in storage
space.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, 175 gigs is
that's
the biggest game I've ever seen.
Right.
Hands down, storage wise. I can't think of another game that's even that close. 175 gigs. That's just crazy. Also in video game news, Red Dead Redemption 2 for PC was announced a couple of weeks ago, which that's pretty big news.
I think I've seen the trailers for some of the gameplay. Or is that Red Dead?
It was probably Red Dead Redemption 2 for Xbox or PlayStation that you saw, because it came out like a year ago or so on those systems, and it's finally coming out on PC in a couple of weeks. I believe it said November 5th. Let me double check here. November 5th launches on PC. And then it's got, I guess, a slight exclusivity because it doesn't come out on Steam until December. In November, it'll be on Rockstar's game launcher.
Boo.
And
Isn't this
Epic's
is it the
game
is it the
launcher.
cowboy sim?
Yeah, exactly.
Life sim?
Yeah,
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
with horses. Yeah.
I guess I'm not too angry about the Rockstar game launcher because they're also releasing it on other stores.
Exactly. And it's only a month of exclusivity, so that's pretty minor. Same idea though with this one that we were just talking about. The specs requirements on here. Oh, they want 12 gigs of RAM too. Interesting. Maybe I'm wrong, but 150 gigs
Jeez.
to install this game.
This one,
So think about
I kind of understand.
Because this is a huge open world game with a lot of story, a lot of dialogue, a lot of different sound effects. So this one is more understandable than Call of Duty.
Like Black Ops
or
4?
Black Ops 4 specifically.
Yeah.
But think about that for a second. Think of if you had Modern Warfare and Red Dead Redemption 2 on your PC. There's 325 gigabytes of your hard drive taken up with 2 games.
It's crazy.
2 games.
And speaking of requirements, they released requirements for Jedi Fallen Order. They recommend 32 gigs of RAM.
32?
Yeah.
That's
for a game.
Crazy.
What are they doing?
That's they're approaching Chrome territory with that.
Memory leaks.
Yeah, they're already planning on. We know this is gonna not run well, guys.
Just set that as the system requirements because it's going to leak up to 16 gigs.
Yeah.
So if we double that, the game will run like normal.
It'll just run good at 32 gigs.
Oh, wait. They dialed it back to 16.
Oh, okay.
It must have been a mistake.
Was it a typo or something?
Fix the leak.
Jeez, that's crazy. But yeah, so Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC is going to have a list of I wish that was in. I guess it wasn't in the article I linked to, but it had a list of different upgrades that it's going to have over the console version, and it's basically all just like visual stuff, like you would expect, because the game's a couple years. It's what, like 2.5 years or so old, I think, and your PCs obviously can get a lot more powerful than your consoles, so they're going to take advantage of that power and do like some better lighting, better particle effects, better volumetric fog.
Ray tracing?
Nope.
They did not say it offers ray tracing. Better global illumination.
Outside, though, I don't think ray tracing is as needed for global illumination.
Agreed. And the global illumination they already have for that game on Xbox One X, it still looks really good.
Yeah.
You know, it's baked in, but it looks great. So yeah, and the thing that and this is my own personal problem that I have is I'm such a graphics nut that I keep telling myself not to buy this game on PC because I didn't even like it on Xbox.
I remember that.
The only reason I want it is for the graphics.
I know. Oh.
It's if it ever goes on sale for like under 30, it'll be hard for me to resist.
Because I bet it just because it punches way above its weight on Xbox One X even. It looks way better than it should. And if they're actually going to be able to take advantage of the extra power on the PC.
Well, even their PC requirements are like way light for what it is.
Well, for minimum, yes, I agree. But for recommended, the minimum recommended is a 1060.
But the minimum is GTX 770.
The recommended is 1060. Yeah, the minimum, like I said, is pretty low. The recommended is a 1060, and that's pretty affordable. It is last gen. It's not current gen NVIDIA cards. And they want a 480, which is the same idea on Radeon. It's last gen, not their current stuff, but it still is like
2 generations ago at this point. Because the 580
that's
has
true.
been replaced by the 5500.
5700. But those are still pretty beefy mid-range graphics cards. But for the graphics that it's going to produce, that's actually a pretty good deal as far as resource allocation goes. I think you're right. Because that game on console, it looks phenomenal. So it's going to be hard to turn it down on PC, even though I know I won't enjoy playing it. I didn't enjoy it on the console that much.
You'll load it up and pretty graphics, and then never play it again.
I know, and I gotta force myself to realize that's a bad idea. That is a poor use of my money.
That's what I do with Control, but at least with Control, it's
a good game.
I also love the game.
Yeah, it's fun.
Whenever I play, I'm like, oh, but these are so pretty, and I just look around, pretty. Then I play it for like 10 minutes, and then my time's up.
You spend 20 minutes gawking at the textures and the reflections, and then 10 minutes playing, and then that's all the time you have.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, don't throw money at those worthless frivolities.
Hey, you be quiet, beard man.
He just bought the... He did it. He Jamesed.
Hey, James, your order's in.
November 12th, I'll have the power of Tower. Tower
of Power.
Thank you. I'm filling in for Owen as well.
Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't think you'd do it, but he did.
Oh,
You bought it.
I take my job very seriously.
You bought those plastic pieces. Well done. Oh, man. All right. Let's see. Did we have any more gaming news?
The Atari.
Oh, yeah. Atari news.
So if you remember, a long time ago, we talked about Atari putting out a new crowd-funded video game platform.
The Atari VCS.
Yes. Not to be confused with VCR. They just
That's
went
right.
up. They just went up a letter.
Obviously, it makes perfect sense.
VCR's already taken. Dang it.
VCS.
And we were
Nailed it.
quite pessimistic about this device, and we still have the right to be pessimistic
I was
about
going to say,
it.
rightfully so.
They announced a retro game subscription service through AntStream. So they partnered with AntStream Arcade. So I guess they already have AntStream already has a subscription service for retro games.
I never heard of this.
Neither have I. But if you pay $10 a month on top of your Atari game console,
Which those are going to be like $200 to $300.
yeah, you can get a selection of retro games. Atari retro games will be exclusive to the console, which I guess if you
Makes
grew up
sense.
if you grew up on Atari, then you might like it. But those who didn't, the games are just extremely basic for anything today.
Yeah.
They're more like homework video games. You know, you play to know where you came from.
But it's $10 a month.
I'm just not feeling this $300. Is that what you said this thing's going to cost?
I think they said, if I remember reporting on this earlier, there's going to be 2 versions. There'll be a weaker version and a stronger version, and I think the weaker one comes in at like $230, and the stronger one is $300, somewhere around there.
But the subscription is $10 a month. That's crazy expensive.
You'll be able to play games on it without the subscription, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
through their store. But their lead architect quit.
Yeah, I saw that. He was the one that he used to work at Xbox, right?
Yeah, the original Xbox. He
Yeah.
helped develop that.
So you're responsible for the speaker hat?
I sure hope not.
I don't think so. That the speaker
It
had
seems like a different branch of Atari.
it's too brilliant to be placed on just one man.
I get it. It's way before its time. People in the future are going to be like, what?
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking Bose saw that and thought, we can do that with glasses.
Yeah, this is interesting. It says, there's kind of an excerpt in this article. It says, you could be playing a Nintendo 64 or Neo Geo game if Asteroids is no longer scratching your itch.
Wait, there'll be those games available on it?
That's what it's saying. Nintendo 64, that is
Well, I doubt
notoriously hard to
I doubt they're
emulate.
Nintendo licensed games, but probably third party maybe.
I don't know. I think I could be wrong, but I thought every Nintendo game had to be like partially owned or something to work.
I don't know. It
Like
says
I thought they had some sort of no. I think I'm thinking of something else. Never mind.
Speaking of which,
I think I'm wrong. I'm thinking of something else.
going back to the Genesis Mini, it had EA games, and EA was famous for skirting around Sega's cart system, so they didn't have to pay royalties.
Oh, that's right. They had different shaped cartridges
Yeah.
and stuff.
And the Genesis Mini has EA games. That's really interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah, I remember playing Road Rash on your Genesis and always wondering, why is this cartridge shaped different?
Yeah, it had like this little yellow tab on the left
yeah.
side.
So,
yeah, I just looked at another article. Same thing. Neo Geo, Nintendo, Sega Genesis.
see, I thought that Nintendo had some sort of publishing agreement with all the games that were released on on their platforms.
They've always been really tight about that.
Super,
That's one of the
super
things
tight.
that really drove them out of the market for those big premier games, and they kept all their own stuff in house, right?
Right.
Because they were so strict on the
Publishing and stuff.
on the publishing and on the developers. Like they had to meet. Like there was a lot of
So-
a lot of talk about that.
If that's the case and it's N64 games, I'll be surprised, honestly, if that pans out.
If Nintendo doesn't shut that right down.
Yeah.
I still absolutely love the industrial design of the Atari VCS, though. It looks awesome.
It does look cool. Did you see why the lead designer quit? He hasn't been paid in 6 months.
Ouch.
No, that'll do it.
Yeah, that's not so good.
Look, we're only Atari in name.
Yeah, right.
Not
We
in
don't have
finances.
Atari money.
We don't have Atari money.
We don't have the money.
They
that
just
Atari-
letting us use the name.
We spent all of our money on that product placement in the latest Blade Runner movie.
Yeah, whatever patent troll owns the rights to Atari is just letting them. It's
Yep.
just pimping out that name.
It's like Circuit City, and I guess Toys R Us
Yeah,
is coming
now
back.
Toys R Us, yeah.
Even though it's not really Toys R Us.
It's just an empty shell.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
been
It's just a name.
it's a body snatcher. They've just taken it. and
Nokia,
They just
Yeah.
reskinned it. They're like, let's put this well-known hat on you.
Palm,
Palm, yeah.
with the recent whatever it's called that they have.
Lenovo, too, actually. Even though Lenovo's still putting out good products, it's owned by a Chinese subsidiary.
Yeah.
Lenovo was always. You mean IBM, the ThinkPad line?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That was a part of Lenovo.
No, Lenovo bought it
Oh,
from.
did Lenovo buy ThinkPad?
Yeah, they did from IBM.
Yeah, but then Lenovo used to be owned by EMC, if I remember
I
correctly.
don't know who that is.
It was
Big storage guys.
Yep.
Oh, that EMC.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they
Interesting.
used to be owned by EMC, and then they got sold to a Chinese subsidiary.
Huh.
I could be totally wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm just.
I think I'm gonna buy me one of those Gen 2
Well, I like a lot of the stuff.
ThinkPad
See,
lines.
it's one of
the Extreme line.
It's one of the few companies that's been bought and sold that many times and has maintained high quality products.
right.
They do still put out really good stuff, if you ask me, especially their business line stuff.
That's what I kind of dabble in.
Yeah. Let's see. So we have some. Brian wants to share some Halo 4 and 5 plot spoilers.
Who's Brian?
Twyman, sorry,
Oh.
Brian Twyman.
I really only put that in there because I thought Jaron would get mad.
No, I am. If you intend on talking about plot spoilers, I'm going to take my headphones off and close my ears.
No. There's no plot spoilers. Sorry.
Oh man, fine. I did want to. Brian and I talked about this on the drive over a little bit. We wanted to kind of interview or maybe hear Twyman's philosophy on tech, because he has so much old tech, and Brian and I figured Owen would be able to chime in on this.
Well, it's
So
something.
why do you collect all this old garbage?
It's not garbage.
Whoa, don't hold your
collectible.
opinion
Look,
back.
look, last episode when I said what fool has beta, I only said that so confidently because I am one of those people. I didn't realize it'd be so offensive, and I was like, oh, I called him a fool. I'm in the same boat. I've got the other oar. Paddling
you guys
up-
are helping each
I'm
other.
paddling upstream against time.
And yet you have two oars, and somehow you still paddle in circles.
Yeah, well.
I don't get it.
I'm
delaying
paddling
the
backwards. He's paddling forward.
We're delaying it. We kind of just want to freeze in time.
Yeah, no, we've talked about this a couple times, and it's something since I was younger and got in these arguments with my brothers. But imagine for a bit, how satisfied are you with these current tech offerings, like these latest things coming out?
I'm 100% happy
Very.
So you're 100% happy.
until
Okay.
the emptiness comes.
Now imagine,
Hey,
Until
leave
the
that out of
FOMO.
it.
Until the FOMO.
but what sucks is you're paying a ton of money for it, right?
Yeah.
Now imagine that you don't live, you wait 3 years. You're living in the past. When this tech is 3 years old and I finally catch up to it, I will have that exact same experience as you're having now because I know no better. And I'm paying 1/3 the price.
I guess if you're living in a cave without any news,
All you did was just describe the philosophy of ignorance is bliss.
No.
Yep.
No, it's not ignorance. I will experience this, but I will save money, and because I'm
Okay,
not
sorry. Let me rephrase this. Temporary ignorance is bliss.
But how do you? But there's I would argue against that and say there's no way you can be completely oblivious to the new tech out there. So you're gonna know what you're missing out on when you get the old stuff. You're like, well, I know this one doesn't,
No, I don't.
I know that this one doesn't have a touch screen. That I'm still on, T9, but I'll get to that eventually.
No, that's the best part. I'm still using not a 4K TV. It's a Vizio that I got at Thanksgiving, 3-4 years ago. When I go to Thanksgiving this year, there'll probably be some 4Ks in that cheaper range I can pick up.
I would probably argue.
Now I'm caught up.
I would argue in your favor for the TV part, because honestly, the difference between watching a 1080p 75-inch and a 4K 75-inch from over 12 feet away, it's not 12 or 15 feet away. You get to the point where it's hard for your eyes to see a difference. Yeah. Now, black levels and color reproduction, HDR, that's a different ballgame. You'll see a huge difference on that kind of stuff.
But he doesn't. But like you said, he doesn't know what he doesn't have.
So do you just avoid the wall of TVs when you go to Best Buy?
he just got off
I
CRTs.
don't go to Best Buy.
Oh, well, that will do it.
So when you look at Jaron's TV over here, which is pretty high end, I'm going to admit, do you not see the difference between what you have and what that is?
We played an 8 or 16-bit
Yeah,
game on it.
we
It looked
played Genesis Mini.
Okay,
about
fair
the same
point.
to me.
Fair point.
No, I
can't-
try to avoid that stuff.
Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. I'll grant. I'll say okay at that point. But what about all this other stuff like your beta and your laser discs and what?
Well,
about
that's that. I'm not talking about those. That's just I collect those because I enjoy them. Like I've said in the previous shows, the Laserdisc came in these beautiful boxes with massive artwork, and you open it up and it talks about the production, and there's a lot of other things that make those cool.
Okay.
Since the discs were so big, the packaging had a lot more room.
They had to do
stuff.
something.
They're like, let's
with all
just
this blank
put
space.
in. We
Yeah,
don't
there's
want packing peanuts, so let's put something else inside there.
Exactly. Yeah, there's stories in there about what happened during the filming and stuff. There's cool things like that. But that philosophy is just for, the latest and greatest tech. If you're willing to wait a year or two, it sucks for you guys because you're already at the cutting edge. So for you to just hold there for 2 years, that would suck.
I'll
But
say
for
this.
me, I'm in the past.
I'll
and
say
this
this.
is great.
I'll say this about the bleeding edge, though. If you stay on the bleeding edge, you can sell your old stuff to maintain
Yeah.
the bleeding edge.
There is that factor as well.
That's a lot, but it's also a lot of anxiety with knowing like hardware performance. Like, did I get a good deal? Is this thing? Am I gonna like? I worry about that because
That's half the fun, though.
I'm coming up. The Pixel 4 is about to be released, and I'm like kind of itching to buy it. Like I've been waiting, I've been planning. I'm like, I have the original Pixel, so I've held off on the 2 and the 3.
Right.
I'm ready to make the move to the 4, and I'm like, but what if it's a pile of junk? Because I bought the Xbox 360 thinking, gaming has arrived. They can't get any better than this. Look at these graphics.
Yeah.
And then I got the Red Ring of Death because I got one of the first gens, and I was like, I should have waited for like some
do
revisions.
you guys actually get your money back out when you're saying that bleeding edge and reselling?
I
Do
would
you
say
get your money back?
I would say as long as you're not stupid with your initial purchase, yes.
Yeah, like I sold my old 1070s and it paid for half of my
So about-
2080 Ti.
But that was
It's like
during the
50%.
mining craze, right?
But on the other side of that coin, that was also when we saw a huge jump in the cost of the high-end GPU.
right.
Now, if it had been like he had 970s and went to a 1080 Ti and was able to do the same kind of $400 or $200 per card, you would have paid for like 3/4 of a 1080 Ti. So that's an outlier exception because NVIDIA's pricing just went crazy on the 20 series. But yeah, like for instance, I picked up a Switch Lite a couple weeks ago, and that was $200. I have a original Switch that I bought for $300, right? But they still sell for $300, and so I'm going to be able to sell my Switch and the Pro controller that I got as well, because there's no point in having a Pro controller with a Switch Lite because you can't dock it, and I'll be able to sell those for probably $250, and I paid for the new system like that.
Is that new one as capable as the one you're getting rid of? No, because the one you have
hang
has
on.
modular ability.
Like I said, if you are choosy with what you buy, I went into that one completely knowing that I don't care about playing the Switch on my TV anymore.
Yeah, you've had it for a couple years,
I've had my Switch now for 2 years,
and you're like, I
since
don't play it on the
launched.
TV.
I don't play it on the TV.
So
I
you're
just
kind of
don't.
slimming down your
I'm
needs.
saying financially it's a loss, whereas if you wait 3 years and then come into the game,
I'd still be paying $300 for a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, so for my PlayStation 4, I sold my old PlayStation, I think for like probably $250, and I upgraded to the PlayStation 4, paid $150, for the difference.
right?
But now the what you're paying that $150 for is better graphics.
Yeah.
And tech nowadays
for you that's worth it.
Uh-huh.
And for me that's worth it if you ask me.
And tech the consumers are starting to move away from this disposable tech too. So like the bleeding edge used to be you bought a phone every year.
Yeah.
Now consumers are, and with the pinch and with the cost of phones going up, it's more like 3 years.
At least every 2 for most people.
At least 2, maybe 3 years. And they retain, and because these phones are still decent phones, like you're saying, they still retain a lot of their value. Like, so you can still sell them. And so waiting 2-3 years to buy an older device, you're going to save, that's for sure. But it's not as much, nearly as much as it used to be, where you could get
phones are hard to say that about too, because especially Android has a problem of not supporting phones longer than about 3 years.
And this is the great thing about Apple.
I will agree 100%.
People will knock Apple, but there are crazies out there who will buy Apple and pay top dollar for used Apple products.
Don't have to tell me that.
Not only that, Apple has a fantastic track record of supporting their mobile devices for
and they have
extended periods
They have
of
a
time.
buyback program.
Their buyback program is garbage.
It is. But if you
Sell it on KSL.
But for the layperson that doesn't want to go through the hassle of trying to meet somebody at a gas station or deal with that interpreter, you can. They have their own buyback program built in.
Should I sell my Mac? Should I do my Mac Tower story?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just what you said kind of just led right into that about, work gets rid of equipment every now and then. So they gave me a Mac Tower, a 2010, and it was a 12 core.
This was
years ago.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 years ago.
2 or 3 years ago. They gave me this 12 core,
So
and I had it.
you got it and was already like 6 years old.
Yeah,
And so then
7 years old.
Yeah.
And I tried to turn it into a miner, and it couldn't handle it. So sat in the basement, and one day I'm just like, I just need to get rid of this thing. I'm just going to throw it away.
And you kept it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
for like
Just
another 2
sitting
years
down
where it
there,
just
yeah.
sat down there.
I finally I got to get rid of
So
this
this thing, it's almost a decade old.
Yeah,
at this
almost
point.
a decade old. And I took it out to throw it in the trash. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll recycle it because it's aluminum case, right? And I'm like, well, let me just check KSL. Maybe somebody wants, $50 for it. I get on there. I could not believe people asking $500, $600, $800 for these things. Woo! I'm like, no, this is BS. Nobody will do this. I listed that first one for $550. I had put an SSD in it that I also got for free, wiped it, and installed the OS. It had 30 gigs of RAM, I think, with room for more because they had 8 slots or whatever. Threw it on there. Within hours, somebody calls me. I want that. I'm coming down right now. $550. Didn't hassle with me.
Man,
And
I need to
they're-
sell mine.
Oh, you need to. Absolutely. I could not believe it. The same thing with one of those fat 2-inch thick cinema displays.
Yeah.
$150
They
for
don't
that
make
thing.
those anymore.
We're not, and we're not even talking like the nice cinema displays that have the glossy, the glossy finished ones on the front. This was the old school 30-inch
Yeah.
that was super thick, big old bezel.
Yep.
yeah.
I just had to buy. I just had to buy a couple of those for some diehard Apple fans
What?
Oh,
at
yeah.
work. $500 they're going for on
That's
Amazon.
insane.
That's who bought the monitor from me. Same thing. Within hours, somebody called. I need that. And the guy came down, and he was super techie. I'm like, why are you buying this? Well, it's for my friend, and he has his setup, and that's what he likes, and he wants the exact same thing. And so he had to buy the exact same thing.
Apple fans are
Crazy.
weird, man.
It's bizarre.
It's a mentality they built into it.
Oh, yeah,
like,
for sure.
That it's taken decades to get to this point where they've convinced everybody that we last. Like the brand, like that's the power of this brand.
Mm-hmm.
There's no the tech and the hardware behind that. There's nothing special in the parts,
No.
that make it any better.
Except for the ARM chips in
No,
iPhones
not,
and iPads.
Not mobile,
Yeah.
not mobile. I'm just talking about.
I know,
I'm just
I know.
talking about laptops
And those are
desktops.
recent, right? Because most of their other stuff ran on Core i stuff until this ARM chip came out.
No.
Not their mobile.
Mobile's
Oh
always
yeah, no
been
mobile,
the,
but like their new iPad, like they're with the ARM, the A2, A1, what's it called?
A13.
A13. There we go. I was gonna get there probably in 10 or 12 twice.
Yeah, they're definitely dedicated to it. I mean, there's whole forums about how to get the latest Mac OS on those old boxes. You get the graphics card that supports metal and do this, that, and the other tweak, and you can install the latest. I'm like, move on.
I agree 100%. It's just crazy to me. And the funniest thing about it to me is Apple's motto, Apple's tagline used to be "Do more for less."
When was it ever that?
I saw stickers. I swear I saw stickers of it that said "Do more for less."
Back when the cases were translucent, maybe.
Those
colors.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Apple II.
Oh, do more, cost less. Sorry.
Well, they've changed that right around.
Yeah.
That was just a brand building exercise. Now they've moved on from that.
It's you go and search for it on Google Images, and they were like things like buttons and stuff they used to give out. Does more, cost less. It's that simple. Apple. That is, yeah. Someone's modified a few of them to say does less, cost more.
Hey, that's offensive.
But yeah,
And
it's
accurate.
it's crazy how Apple has flip flopped on that. If you ask me, not on their mobile devices. Once again, I reiterate that I got a lot of respect for their mobile devices, but their laptops and PCs, their desktops and stuff.
I don't know, but then there's those Linus Tech Tip videos where they try to build something comparable, and it's actually priced not too bad.
You're talking about not their laptops. You're talking about when they want to do like the iMac Pro comparison or the Mac Pro Tower. And in that aspect, they're actually not priced too terrible. But then the question is just like, that becomes just an issue of why is someone buying something that powerful? Do they actually need it for rendering and stuff like that? And I think there's a lot of people that they're like me. If they want something that powerful, they want to build it themselves.
Yeah.
But then you have your Apple devotees that want that much power, and they want the Apple sticker on the side.
Well, and the Apple sticker like I said, the Apple sticker retains that value. So in 7-8 years,
They'll be able
you're
to-
still going to sell that for 80%. Probably that's probably the average. You'll sell it for 80% of the value. which is insane because most things lose by year 3. They're at like 50, and anything past that, you're just selling it for chump change.
Yeah,
$50,
just,
you know. That when I've sold quite a few laptops because I used to get laptops from work, and when they were hot, and all of a sudden one thing passed, the next gen came out or something, and you couldn't give those PCs away.
Yeah, it's super interesting. The different mindset, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, cool. Is there anything else we wanted to hit on before we wrap up? You talked about your Pixel phone. Did you want to talk about the leaks? Because this episode should be dropping on the same day, I think, as or pretty close.
Yeah. So this one, the one we just recorded, we'll do that.
Oh, okay. So this is a week after.
This is a week after the event. So there's going to be a bunch of stuff talked about on the 15th of October, the Google event. What are they calling it? Do they have a name for it? I'm just calling it the Google event.
I don't think they have a name for it.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, and one of the things I'm super excited about is the phone. Because I really have been kind of eyeing it, and I hate when anything negative comes out about it. Because I'm like, screw you, I'm still getting it.
I want it.
I hate
that's
hearing,
an Apple attitude, right there.
I hate hearing negative things about it because I just want it's past the need, it's past the logical threshold, and now it's into the emotional threshold, which has no bounds. Like literally, which is where most Apple people live is in the area where they just want it.
Hey, don't insult me.
Oh, sorry. No, I can't say that. That's not true. Sorry, I take that back.
Just kidding.
Anyway, but so what I've posted on the show notes is, since we haven't had the Google event yet, I've posted this Pixel 4, like a lot of the other Pixels before it, has been one of the most leaked phones.
And we're talking about basically there is no aspect.
I'm not talking about rumors, literal actual leaks in hand, in the wild, seen, held, verified.
There's pretty much nothing left on this phone that we don't already know.
Right.
Before the announcement.
Yeah, before the announcement. And so what I'm thinking is that with these leaks, I can't believe that they're not somehow planned. A company like Google,
I'm sure.
I can't imagine that they were like, oh, whoops. And so I think what they're going to be showcasing a lot of is the software, Face ID, which they've got coming out on it, and some of the gestures and stuff like that. And so I'm still going to watch the event, and I'm still pretty stoked about it. You know, I've been saving up my crypto for a couple years.
This is big-time stuff.
To get this phone.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so what I posted in the show notes is basically what we know so far. All the leaks, all the rumors. You know, some of the things we do know about it. It's not going to have the 855, the Snapdragon 855 Plus. It's going to be the 855. It's looking at 6 gigs of RAM.
That's the rumor I read, was 6 gigs of RAM, which I think is still a little low if you ask me.
It's going to have
whatever.
Some of the things on here have shown a 16 megapixel lens on the back. They're it's going to have a very noticeable. I saw the camera bump on the back.
Well, there's a triple camera array on the back.
Triple camera array on the back, and I'm kind of nervous about the raised. It looks glass or some sort of shiny something on the back where the cameras are located.
You put a case on that thing, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna still get it. Like I said, it's far past the logical ability for me to turn back now.
The bezels on the front are ugly. The chin return. There's a ugly top bezel.
No headphone jack coming back. Also, it's not going to ship with a USB to headphone jack adapter.
No dongle.
No dongle on this one. Some countries, I guess it will because it's a requirement, but in the U.S.
Yeah, why would we want to help our consumers out in the U.S.?
How are we going to buy Google Buds?
Those were so bad.
They were so bad.
I never read anyone say anything nice about those.
Well, we got the Google Buds. Now Amazon's got their Buds, and now Microsoft's got their Gauges Buds.
Everyone's got their,
the Surface Gauge.
The Surface Gauge. Everybody's getting in on the Bud, the earbud.
Everyone got
train.
their buds.
So I have wireless earbud fatigue. But anyway, so check it out in the show notes if you're interested in getting it. We'll talk more about the Google I/O event once it happens and everything.
And we record after.
Yeah, but I'm super excited about the phone. I'm like 90% sure I'm gonna pick that up, and I'll be doing a review on it when I get it.
Nice. We will look forward to that. But yeah, you'll be hearing this 2 weeks after, a week after the event. And saying this as we're recording before the event, I'm just curious, what do they have to show off at the event?
I don't know what else.
It's got to be software tweaks, like you said.
It has to be.
That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, they've been shipping the phones, so I can't imagine. Maybe the people that are getting the phones aren't getting the full software; they're getting these betas or something. But
no, what they do is, you're talking about for reviewers and stuff.
Yeah,
they just make them sign NDAs.
Okay,
so
the actual reviewers have signed NDAs, but the people that are leaking They must not have something. I don't know, because most of these have been through like leaked sources.
And it'll also have a 90 hertz display, which
90
is cool.
hertz, yeah, that's cool.
I was surprised, honestly, that Apple didn't do a 90 hertz display on their phones this year because they have a 120 hertz display on the iPad Pros.
I think they're just focusing on battery life.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it needs to have a 90 or 120 hertz display refresh, but it sure is nice.
Yeah, to me, it's one of those things where it'd be nice to have, but I'm not terribly missing it.
And one of the leaks shows somebody playing PUBG on the phone, and they said with the 90 hertz display like refresh, it's really nice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
well, that's one of
PUBG wouldn't be able to drive that though on an Android phone.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's an Android version of PUBG.
Would it? You think it'd be able to hit 90 hertz?
If it had the 855 plus, I'd say pretty close. But
No, Pixel 3 won't have that.
yeah, it's Pixel 4. But
4,
yeah. If you check out, well, you can actually, I forget, in that game, they actually have graphics settings. You can drop the settings down get higher refresh.
I still wonder if it hit 90 though.
And then you have,
I'll test it out.
that was the big selling point of the ROG Phone 2.
Yeah.
Was a 120 hertz
crazy.
display, which is pretty awesome. Well, cool. All right. Well, thanks for making it to the end. Hope you enjoyed it. Share the show, rate the show if you want. Twyman, you got something to say?
Well, do we want to talk about this robot cache?
Sure.
Okay. Now that I've halted everything.
We're not done yet.
Not done yet. That was
Twyman's
false
got
alarm.
something to say.
You
Just
remember?
listen for the grunt. Let me talk.
You remember we talked about this years ago, robot cache, and I brought
Yeah, this
up,
was supposed to be the ability to resell digital versions of games using blockchain technology.
right, uses blockchain technology and lets you mine.
Yeah.
And then they give you crypto, their own version of crypto, which you can then use to buy games.
So it's a game store as well.
Exactly. And they've actually launched it. And I don't know when you signed up.
I got the email that was
You got
launched
it.
a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So they're starting to move through all the people who pre-signed up or whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, you get this interface. They have a game store here. I don't really know games very well. If these are
a lot
indie games,
lot of
mostly.
indie games. The ones that are probably the most well known is Trine 4, Super Hot. Scroll around. Let me see what else they got. Or is that it?
Here's one of my complaints is that this.
Oh, that's
this
a terrible
runs really,
interface.
Yeah, it runs really janky on this. I don't know if it's my laptop or.
What's on the next lineup? Scroll over a little bit.
You got a Faraday cage
Up.
on the outside of your laptop, so
Yeah, you do have your laptop covered in foil.
It's gum wrappers.
nice Faraday.
Yeah,
cage
there's
going
not
on.
a whole lot of stuff that most people would know about so
Right.
far in here. Now,
So the idea is
problem-
that you can mine this. Is this a mineable, like a GPU mineable algorithm?
Yeah.
basically you set it up and
Based on what algorithm?
I don't know what algorithm.
okay.
you
I don't know
use,
what
actually.
it's using because I haven't actually been able to get the miner to work on this laptop.
Oh, Wasteland
It
2.
crashes it.
That's a well-known one. Wasteland 2.
But the idea behind it is, okay, I'm done playing this game, and instead of it just sitting in your library and you never play it again,
Sell
you
it
can
for-
sell it for. I think it's only like 30% of what it would be new, or 60%.
It's pretty small.
Low return there.
But the thing is
Yeah.
that I think it's 60. You get 60. They pay the devs again 30%.
Yeah, so the devs get a cut, which is
Oh,
pretty
nice.
neat.
That's pretty cool.
And the robot cache gets 10%. And so that's kind of the neat idea behind it. And then, to help them run, I'm assuming to run their back end and to process, the blockchain.
Yeah, you gotta
You can
have
turn on
miners.
mining when you're idle, and then you get paid in what's called iron. And then you can use that iron to buy games. So it's kind
neat.
of
Is that the crypto they give back to you when you sell a game as iron as well?
right. But the
Yeah.
iron can't be traded for cash. So you
Right.
can't mine it and cash out.
Right.
So
It's
Yeah,
not being
whatever-
it's not being traded. It's not
it's-
being traded on any exchanges against fiat or anything.
Right. It's
Exactly.
basically the equivalent of like GameStop store credit.
Right.
yeah, now 2 years ago when this was announced, or 3 when we started talking about it, I thought it was an awesome idea and crypto was at its height, and it just took them so long to get it out.
Right.
I'm not sure if it's going to be able to really compete now that there's all these other.
I think if
Game Pass and
if they
other
keep
affordable.
if they keep going and kind of do grassroots style slow growth, I think it has a chance.
I think
Yeah.
it'll take one
But-
big hit. One big hit will kind of spark
I
it
think
off.
that would definitely help as well.
If they
yeah.
got one big big name on
If they
board.
got well, they wouldn't even have to get an exclusive if they got a couple of big games.
If they just
like
got
you
some,
were saying.
and if they got maybe some of the game developers that have big games,
Yeah.
like Bungie came in here and did some indie thing.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in going to just because I like the studio.
Right.
I'd come check it out for the studio's sake. Interesting.
Yeah.
So cool. Kind of combines crypto and gaming stores, so thought it was relevant.
Could have a future. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. Okay, now we're done for real. Woo! No grunts? Okay. Thanks for listening to the end. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to give us a review on iTunes or Spotify or whatever.
Go check out our website.
And if
send
you-
us a message or email.
If you want a clean butt, go to biobidet.com and use our code GadgetSpot for 10% off.
Yep, on a sweet bidet. Or
They're
bidet
awesome.
attachment.
And they are awesome.
Yeah, we reviewed one a couple episodes back. The Slim Glow.
Slim Glow. I have the
great.
Slim Zero. I love them both.
Yep. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening to the end. Hope you enjoyed. And Owen, why don't you take us out?
Hey, we hope you care.
Gadget Spot.